If you're watching this video, you are working on Chapter 10, Lesson 1, Independent Practice, and you either have completed numbers 1 and 3 and you want to check to see if you got it correct, or you are needing further support on how to do these two problems. Now, number 1, you can probably do on the paper, on the space that the book has for you, possibly, but please use notebook paper if you do not have enough room. So for number 1, we're going to find the mean, and I noticed right away this is a bar graph, and there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bars of data. So using uh, what the notes have told me about how to calculate mean, I know ultimately I'm going to divide the sum of all the data by the total number of pieces of data, and that's 5. So the first thing I'm going to write is the denominator 5. Now I'm going to take the 75, the 72, the 53, the 62, and the 69, and I'm going to add them all together. So I'm going to go ahead and write those out. I'm going to pause the video to write those out. Okay, we're actually going to be adding several two-digit numbers together. And you could just add them all up in one long row, but it is also perfectly fine for you to take two of them and add them together, two of them and add them together. Just you can do them in parts as well. Okay, but let's go ahead and very carefully we're going to go down the place value. 5 plus 2 is 7, plus 3 is 10, plus 2 is 12, plus 9 is going to be 21. I put the 1 down, I carry the 2. 7 plus 7 is 14, plus 2 is 16, plus 6 is 21, plus 6 is 27, plus 6 is 33. So this is 331. Okay, once I have 331, I'm going to write that up here at the top of the division problem to solve for the mean. So now I'm going to divide 331 by 5. Now, see, I'm taking up a lot of space on my book, so I may need to use notebook paper for other parts of my assignment that I have to do. So I'm going to take 331, and I'm going to divide it by 5. And 5 goes into 36 times. So I'm going to subtract 30 from 33. And then I've got 31. And I'm going to, again, 6 times 6 is 30. And there's one of two ways I can do this. I can either solve this as a decimal or as a fraction. It really doesn't matter. I'm going to go ahead and decide I'm going to do this as a decimal. So I'm going to put a decimal point here. And I get a 1 left over. So instead of just making it 1/5, which is a possible 66 and 1/5, I'm going to go ahead and annex a 0 and bring the 0 down. And then 5 goes into 10. Whoops, 2 times. 2 times 5 is 10. And so the answer is going to be 66 and 2/10, and that is equivalent to 66 and 1/5 as well. So, but that's not my entire answer here. It says to find the mean, but it says use the mean to summarize the center of distribution. So basically, all you have to say is 66 and 2/10 is the, whoa, my pen is crazy. Okay, is the center height of all the data. Okay, yeah, you just write a sentence and you just basically say the same thing, just using words instead of just the number. Okay, all right. Now we're going to get a head start on number 3. We're not going to do the whole thing, but I'm going to talk to you about how we would start that problem. Okay, so it's very clear that I will not have enough room to do number 3 all in my textbook. So if you are turning in your work and you just have an answer for number 3 with no work shown, please understand you will not earn credit for that. Okay, so number 3 says Jamila babysat 9 times. She earned $15, $20, $10, $12, $20, 16, 80, 18 for 8 babysitting jobs. How much does she earn for the ninth time if the mean of the data set is 24? Okay. All right. So she babysat 9 times. So the first thing I'm going to do up here, I'm going to go ahead and draw my little fraction bar, and I know that the denominator is going to be 9. Ultimately, I'm going to divide all of this by 9. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to list out all the data that I know, and then I'm going to have to use a variable for the one that I do not know. Now, a very good technique and habit to get into is to put data in order when you're solving it, least to greatest. And so the very smallest number here is 10, so I'm going to write 10 up here first. 10 plus, and the next one I believe is 12, so I'm going to write plus 12. Then I'm going to cross it out because I always want to make sure I get every piece of data. The next smallest is going to be 15. Okay. Then I have 16. It's super important to be very careful with this. The next one is going to be 18. Then I've got two 20s. So this is another reason why we need to make sure we don't forget one of those 20s. So we're going to put 28 down up here twice. 20 plus 20. And then we have $80. So that was either a lot of kids or a lot of time. Okay, now I'm going to make sure that this is 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Plus, there's an unknown number. And I'm going to use the letter B for babysitting. And we're gonna end up solving for B to figure out what this particular amount was. All of this is going to equal, in the problem, 24 is the mean. So this is my equation that I'm going to use. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to consolidate all this data. So, all right, consolidate is a very fancy word. 20 plus 20 is 40. So I'm going to write 40 over here. And then 10 plus 12, that's 22. I'm combining these just to make it easier to add together. 80 will go by itself. It's big enough by itself. And then we have 15 plus 16. 15 plus 15 is 30 plus 1. That's going to be 31. Okay, so this is a much easier problem to add together. So 0 plus 2 plus 1 is going to be 3. And then 4 plus 2 is 6. 6 plus 3 is 9. 9 plus 8 is 17. So I'm going to rewrite the problem. It's going to be 173. Okay, 73 plus the missing amount divided by 9 is going to be equal to 24. Okay, now the next thing I'd like to do is to get rid of this 9. So this is a division situation. So what is the inverse of dividing? Well, that's going to be to multiply. So I'm going to multiply the 9, the 1/9, because we 9 on the bottom. I'm going to multiply that by 9 over 1, and this is going to cross out and turn into just 1. Okay, and so I'm going to then also multiply this side by 9. Really? Okay, 9. All right. So 24 times 9 is what I need you guys to figure out, because I'm going to let you guys finish this problem on your own. So once you figure out what 24 times 9 is, you're going to write that over here. And then, since this crosses out, you're going to end up with 173 plus the missing number. So once you figure out what this is over here, how do we get rid of the 173? What are we going to do to both sides? And once we do that, we're going to be left with B. And once you've done this to both sides, you're going to end up with the answer right here. So That's a good start for you as far as number 3. Very similar to what we've done before in finding missing numbers.